Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Life Exchange Stories of Understanding. I am your host, Kelsey Ross, and here with me today is a wonderful guest. Please, would you like to tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Thank you so much for having me today. I am Aya El Kandusi, and I am originally from Morocco, and I am currently hosted in Virginia State here by through YSU USA as an exchange student.
Wonderful. All right. So tell me about the first time you considered going on exchange. What made you want to do this?
Okay, so this might sound very silly, but since I was a little girl,
Mhm.
I used to go or attend a small private school in Morocco. And I have always wondered how life is in other countries, in other schools. How do they study? Like how things go. And my parents introduced me to this cartoon, and apparently it was an American cartoon, and I just loved it so much. And something that I noticed that was very different from my school was a yellow school bus. And I promised myself at a very young age, probably around like 5 years old, I said when I grow up, I'm going to go to high school in America and I want to experience the yellow school bus. So that was originally one of my dreams since I was a little girl. And I, my school was partially French. So I have been very influenced by the European culture. And I've seen so much from my Moroccan traditional school. But I really wanted to experience the American school, how it is in America. And here I am here today, living my dream, and I can't be more grateful.
That's so cool. Out of curiosity, do you by chance remember the name of the cartoon that your parents showed you?
I think I'm not so sure, but it might have been The Simpsons.
Oh my goodness. What an
Yeah.
absolute American icon. The
Oh
Simpsons. I
yeah.
love that.
Hmm.
So cool. Oh my goodness. That's awesome. So, do you have a favorite character on The Simpsons? On The Simpsons that you watched?
I honestly don't really remember,
That's
but
okay. There's
but
so
I
many episodes anyway. It's hard to
oh
keep
yeah,
track.
exactly. It's a very iconic cartoon.
Absolutely. Awesome. So you made up your mind you were going to go experience that big yellow school bus in the US.
Oh yeah.
So how did you prepare to study abroad? What sort of research did you do and how did you ultimately decide to do this?
So thank you so much for this question because I feel like back like a year ago, I really needed somebody to tell me what to prepare because I have been like trying to get immersed in the American culture way before I came here so that I assumed that that would help me a lot. And actually, it did. So, the first thing I started focusing on was to improve my English skills and try to communicate more, talk to my parents more in English, and,
Mhm.
learn those little words that I can use. And how I also trained myself really well on how to be more and to become more confident, how to talk in front of the camera. And I remember this exercise that my dad started with me. So first, to convince my parents to go on an exchange, I went straight to my dad and I told him I really want to do it so bad. And he understood what I wanted. But the hard part was convincing my mother, since she is more like she doesn't want me to miss my school years and all
Mhm.
of that. So my dad told me to make a presentation and work hard on convincing her and using the pros and the cons of everything and being ready to get questions and to get used to that to learn those skills basically. And I have also learned how to reach out to people and, just getting myself immersed in directly the American culture way ahead. And I have also prepared myself really well for the fact that I will understand that there will be new foods, new people around me. Like I'm from basically all over the world. So it's just, I would say it's a good mental exercise that you just need to train yourself to way before you come here.
Absolutely. A presentation to convince your mom. That is the first time I've ever heard that. That's so cool. You
Oh
must
my
be
gosh, thank you.
incredibly influential. Yeah, and I get your mom and her reticence. You're her
Hmm.
baby. She didn't want to let you go. But
That is true.
do you feel that they are more accepting and understanding of your decision now that we're nearing the end?
Definitely. I honestly, now that I talk to my parents, they just told me that we can't imagine how much you grew through this year and how much I've changed from like 7 months ago, literally. I could tell you that I became a whole new person and so many positive things got added into my personality, and I learned so many things that I could have never imagined I would learn at this age.
Incredible. And
Mhm.
watching exchange students in their transformation while they're on program is my favorite part of
Oh yeah.
the entire thing.
Hmm.
But, in high school, that is a really, could be a scary time to go on
Oh yeah.
exchange. And you generally hear, especially in America, of people going on exchange in college. So
Yeah.
why did you choose to go in high school?
So, as I said previously, it was just one of my dreams. The
Yeah.
American high school
Yes.
experience, it's so iconic. But another part of me is that I am an athlete and I've been a gymnast since I was very, very young. So, traveling was part of my lifestyle. I learned how to travel by myself and with my team since I was 6 years old. So, the idea of just going and like discovering was part of me, I would say. And when I was trying to talk to my parents about that, they kind of noticed that feeling of always wanting to be like to discover things and just like experience was part of my personality. And I was very, very sad that I wouldn't be able to graduate with my friends, and also like I won't be able to connect with them for a year and my family, knowing that I'm very, very attached child to their family. So, and I decided to just basically leave everything behind and just go and discover the world because I thought that my dream was the biggest thing that I own in my life, and I really wanted to have a story. I wanted to have a personal experience that would influence people, and maybe I can have a very good impact on my community back in Morocco when I go back again. So I can say that I really wanted to be the first change in my community, at least, knowing that we do not have any exchange students in that area. So it was that was my biggest motivation, honestly.
We have this term, you might have heard it in American culture. It's called breaking cycles. And
Yes.
you are definitely a cycle breaker and incredibly brave and willing to, take yourself all halfway across the world to experience all these new things. It's so young. It's so cool.
Thank you.
And if I remember correctly, you are a YES scholarship student.
Yes, ma'am. I am a YES scholarship student.
For people who may not know about this program, why tell us about
Mhm.
it?
So basically, the YES program also it stands for the YES and Exchange or Youth and Study Exchange Program. And it is basically a program that allows you to become a young ambassador for your country. And you basically come here, or you first go through a many stages of selection, and you take tests, and they make sure that you are able to represent your nation to the best extent possible, and you have all the leadership skills that are necessary for that. And you basically come here and you get a scholarship and also a stipend, and you get the opportunity to participate in many other activities funded by the YES program. And you basically just live your dream, and you go back to Morocco and you serve your nation and teach them about all the things and the wonderful things that you learned here in your American high school
High school
in your
in
countries,
your
so
countries
that the
so
exchange
that the
is
exchange
mutual.
is From my understanding, the YES program is incredibly competitive and quite
Oh
hard
yeah.
to earn. What was the
Yes.
application? What was the process like from starting your application to finding out that you won?
So first, we have to know that the YES program's acceptance rate is 3% per
Oh my
country.
goodness. Wow.
For example, for my case from Morocco,
Hmm.
there were so many applicants from the whole country, and only 20 of them got selected. So it is very competitive.
Wow.
So yeah, and so honestly, I would say just knowing about the program 3 months ahead kind of prepared me.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was still scared to apply. I was applying, but I didn't know what I was doing. I kid you
Yeah.
not, because I was like, I want this opportunity
Hmm.
and I'm gonna grasp it. That was
Hmm.
my mindset at that time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I could also tell you that before applying to that program, I was rejected from another one, and
Oh.
it was a summer camp,
Hmm.
and it was about the NASA and like the STEM fields. And
Whoa.
unfortunately, I got rejected 2 weeks
Hmm.
before I applied to the YES program. And I could tell you that just that feeling of rejection from that program made me want to do something
Yeah.
and success, like achieve a small success at least. So I was very committed to applying to the YES program. And I was like, and it was my junior year, so I wouldn't have the chance to reapply the next year. So I was
Hmm.
saying to myself, this is your
Hmm.
only opportunity to apply, and you will make it.
Yeah.
You will make your dreams come true. I worked with that mindset, and then here I am today. So first, I wrote my um, letters, and I took some essays. I also had to take some interviews with people from the US Embassy and some program managers in Morocco. We also had to go through an orientation after knowing like who are the finalists. And
Hmm.
at the end, we knew who were our host families, and then we came here to the States. That was generally the process.
About how long would you say that all that took?
Oh, that took the whole year. Like, I
Wow.
could tell you from September, October until basically our flight
Yeah.
tickets, which were in
Wow.
July. It was
Wow.
a very tough process.
Yeah.
It's,
And
it was a big commitment, especially aside from school and all of that. It was time consuming, but it was very worth it. I learned a lot.
yeah. And it just shows your commitment to making your dreams come true and that resilience that you have.
That is right.
It's awesome. All right. So you found out you're a Yes Scholar. You got
Hmm.
your tickets. You got your host family. Before you hopped on that plane, did you have any expectations of what America would be like before you came?
Honestly, I really didn't.
Really?
So, yeah,
Hmm.
I didn't know where I was going, what I would expect. So, I met my host family literally a week before my flight. So, even my host family, I didn't know them super well before coming here. So, I was just like diving into the unknown. It
Yeah.
was very scary, but at the same time, I was full of excitement. And I was so happy to do something out of the ordinary and just go and discover. But something that I was sure of is that I will find people that would welcome me, that would love me, and they would love me so much. And here I am here at my high school. My teachers, my counselors, everybody so amazing. Like my story turned out in a very different way that I was expecting, but it makes it so beautiful.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you found that community to rally around you and to really
Yeah.
support you and love you for who you
Hmm.
are.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And so you've landed in the States and
Hmm.
you've met your host family and you find out what high school you're going to. What were your first impressions of the family and the school?
So I would say at first, so to put you in context, now I had a previous host family, and now I'm currently living with my second host family.
Okay.
So first, with my previous host family, I first came, and I could tell you that I was very surprised of what I saw. It was way different than what I was thinking an exchange here would be, or what would be a host family like. But I think that I've learned a lot from my previous experience with them. Um, it wasn't how I really wanted it to be, but it was way it was very eye opening. But when I came to the high school, I would say that all of what I really wanted to experience, I experienced it during the first times or the first months in my high school instead. So I was the happiest at school, I would say. I made so many friends and my teachers were so nice, and I did not miss any single football game.
Is American football played in Morocco at all, or was this your first experience seeing
Oh no, it
it?
was my
Really?
first time
Okay.
experiencing football.
Yeah.
I have met an au pair girl that was with me.
Mhm.
We were like, and she was also from Germany.
Mhm.
And so basically, for both of us, football was something brand new. And we
Yeah.
were just cheering and so happy and shouting without understanding any single thing in the game.
That's the fun part of it. A lot of,
Oh, yeah.
to be honest, a lot of us don't know what's happening on the field. It just plays out in front of you, and
Hmm.
one guy goes to the other side. Hooray! That's that's really all you need to know.
Exactly. Hmm.
That's so awesome. And were there any other sports or school activities that you experienced that you also really enjoyed and loved doing?
I would say I really liked watching ice hockey.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
during the winter. I was like, wow, that is very interesting. It wasn't in my high school, but I really enjoyed watching it with my host family.
Mm.
And it's something new for me because we don't have that in Morocco. So
Yeah.
I still honestly don't understand it yet, but it's so fun.
Fair. Yeah. Oh, it's really fun to watch.
Hmm.
And was this your second host family that showed you what hockey was?
Oh, yeah. I discovered so many things with my host family. And I this is going to be so hard for me when I'm going to be about to leave
Yeah.
because I never thought that I could say the word mom and dad to other people other than my biological mother and father. And I truly discovered that people can love you, care for you without any other rewards. And I have built the most beautiful relationship with my host family. I don't feel like I'm their student anymore. And the way we talk, the way we interact with each other, my relationship with my host siblings doesn't feel like exchange student and host family relationship. It is just like a family. And the way my host mom introduces me now to her friends and people, she just says she's my daughter. And that is it. That's all what people need to know. And that's how our new relationship became.
That's so touching. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to tear you up a little bit. I'm sorry.
Hey, Have you ever thought about bringing the world to your home?
I have. With YFU USA, you can. By hosting an exchange student, you'll experience a brand new culture right in your own home.
It's an incredible opportunity to make lifelong connections and help a young student discover the American way of life.
Want more info? Visit yfuusa.org to learn more about how you can become a host family today. That's yfuusa.org.
I really admire them and I'm so grateful for them, like very much. And the way my senior night turned in gymnastics was so beautiful. I was with my gymnast friends preparing for the competition, and it was senior night in my high school. And since I'm a senior, I had so many responsibilities before and like preparing everything, and we were so stressed. But then here is my host family coming with 3 little kids. So I have 2 little host siblings. 2 of them are twins, and one little girl, they're 6 years old, and the little girl was 3 years old at that time. And then here they come with the cutest posters ever. And I don't know, maybe 16 guests from all of our neighborhood.
Oh.
And oh my gosh, it was the most beautiful experience ever. And then we filled out the whole stadium, and our story got even shared on the Washington Post.
Oh my goodness, that is so cool. So gymnastics, I know you did in Morocco. Were there any other activities that you did in Morocco that you were able to continue while you're here?
I would say in Morocco, I used to write little stories for kids, and I was definitely able to write here as well. And I was very inspired. And I wrote so many things. I didn't publish any yet, but I'm planning to do so in Morocco. So I was able to continue that. As you can see, I love making videos and sharing my stories. So I have also tried to grow a little bit on social media, and I was able to do that.
For those of you this week, while we're recording this episode, Aya is currently doing a takeover of the YFU Instagram account. So if she looks like a familiar face, that may be where you've seen her. Since we're talking about it, what's the takeover experience been like?
Oh, it has been really awesome. I have felt a very good sense of responsibility, and I also got to do something that I really love. I love sharing information with people. I love sharing my experience. I also really enjoy answering other people's questions about what is life here in the US, because when I go back in time, like a year ago, I really needed somebody to answer my questions and all of I was very confused. So I really try to answer everybody, and that's something I really love doing. So thank you so much for YFU for giving me this opportunity to take over and feel responsible.
No, the thanks go to you. My goodness. If you haven't kept up with Aya's takeover, you are making a mistake. She's showing some really cool insights on what life is like as a Moroccan exchange student in an American high school. It's so cool. I'm so glad that you have this opportunity and that you're able to share with everybody and with us.
Thank you so much.
Going back to kind of the beginning of your exchange experience, were there any big cultural differences that stood out to you that maybe made you feel a little uncomfortable or that you had to work through to understand?
I would say there wasn't really like any cultural differences that made me very uncomfortable. Most of them were very interesting to learn, so I wouldn't really say they made me feel bad at all. But some of them just like made me think what were the things I used to do back in Morocco that I needed to maybe just develop a little bit and make them the American way. The thing that I would say, for example, is that in Morocco, we use a lot of idioms and we use a lot of indirect speech kind of sentences that we would use. But here in the States, people are more direct, and you just need to say information clearly and not just like give examples and expect people to understand you. So I would say that was one of the things that I had to work on a little bit, but And I think that's much better. It's better to say things directly and be more, more honest and direct about things. So I would say that was the only thing that I just had to work on, and yeah, it worked perfectly.
Great. You think you'll take that more direct style of communicating with people back home with you and use that with your family and friends in Morocco?
I think I will, because honestly, it worked so well for me, and I
Mhm.
think it's much better and it makes conversations easier as long as it's not offensive or,
Yeah.
it would hurt somebody's feelings. But
Right.
it's very, it's a good way of communicating.
I want to go back to your host family and
Yeah.
the strong connections that you made with them.
hmm
How did you go about connecting with these essentially strangers that you didn't know and forging such a strong, loving relationship with them?
I honestly do not know. I have
Right.
no idea, but
It just happened.
I it just happened. I remember when I first had my first ever conversation with my host mom at my high school.
Mhm.
She was saying that we are just offering you our family and we're inviting you to live with us, but we're not forcing you to come. And if you don't want to, that's fine. And I was feeling so loved and welcomed in their family way before coming into it. And then I remember it clearly. The first day, my host mom picked me from my local coordinator's house.
Mhm.
We were just like talking directly, diving into topics. We literally talked about hair and literally everything. And then we went
Mhm.
shopping together on the first day, and
Mhm.
we embraced something new on my first day. So in Morocco, Christmas isn't generally celebrated.
Mhm.
So it was my first Christmas ever. So on the first day I moved in with them, the little kids showed me how they usually set up the Christmas tree, and they shared with me their most wonderful memories with every
The
Christmas
ornaments?
tree, the ornaments, yeah,
Yeah.
like in every single thing that meant for them, and they were very open. They didn't know me well at that time, but they were open about it, and they wanted to share their lives with me, and I would say that connection was very like made super quickly. And also I honestly loved them before. So I knew the
Yeah.
little kids because I used to babysit them. And
Okay.
we just like they considered me their sister, or I would say their Moroccan sister, as my youngest sister calls me to her friends.
Yeah.
Um, they just consider me their sister, not their exchange students at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that meant so much to me. And I would say I consider them my family, not just a host family. And I would really say that the key to everything is communication. Communication helps so much, especially for all the current exchange students that are listening. I know that sometimes as teenagers, we don't understand maybe adults that much, but when we're honest and tell them how we feel, or if something is bothering us, really, we should just say that. And they are the ones who help us because I am the living example. Like my host mom did so many things for me, especially with like high school problems or, all of that. She was very, very helpful. And just like us going on the Sunset Drive yesterday, like we talked about so many things. She shared many American classical songs with me. And now we just have a shared playlist. That was just yesterday.
Do you have a favorite song from that playlist?
I do. Actually, it's called A Wild One by Faith Hill.
Okay. I know that song.
And it represents my host sister's personality, Alice. And it is the cutest song ever. I really love it. That's my favorite song.
Well, there you go, listeners. A new song recommendation if you haven't heard it.
There you go.
And do you have siblings back in Morocco, or is this
I
your first
do.
time? Okay. Are they older,
I
younger?
so I can tell you that my current host family, and my family back home are very, very similar. So I have two siblings back home, and they're 6 years old and 11 years old. It's the same thing for my host family here, except for the fact that my host siblings are 6 and 3.
Gotcha.
But I'm the oldest in both of the families, and I was very used to the eldest sibling responsibilities, and it was very easy for me to get, used to having little siblings at home.
Yeah, awesome. Well, at least it wasn't too hard of a transition with siblings. I know for some of our students who may be only children like I am, and coming into a family with siblings, it can be a little overwhelming, but I'm glad it wasn't that and that they have embraced you so much. I was curious about along the lines of making relationships, what was it like for you making friends in your American high school? How did you go about doing that?
I really love this question so much because it takes me back to the football game season. So as I said before, I did not miss any single one. And I remember it clearly. It was such an amazing experience. It was a very rainy day, and it was the first football game of the season. And my host family dropped me off there, and then they just had to do their things. And it was my first week of school. I didn't know anybody except from one girl, like no one. I went to the game. It was the white out theme. I got dressed out. I went there. I was like, today I'm gonna make friends. It started raining. I was like, oh my gosh, rain. This is such a wrong timing today.
Right.
Then the game got canceled, unfortunately. And then we all went to a field house inside of the school. And then I was like, it is very embarrassing to stand by yourself without talking to anyone. You gotta do it today. Then I went to this little lady. She was talking to her group of friends, and I kind of seen her in my French class before. And I was just telling her that I'm an exchange student, and here I come from Morocco. And guess what? Everybody got so interested in learning what is it like to be an exchange student, because at my high school, they don't really get many exchange students, so it was a new thing for them.
Cool.
And yeah, and she also said that she would have never guessed that I was an exchange student, because my English was pretty good by that time, so she would have never guessed that unless I said it. And then I remember this boy coming in too and diving into the conversation. And with him, there was a girl, and apparently she was an au pair from Germany. And then within 5 minutes exactly, we became friends. Me and her, like, shout out to Mary if she's listening, me and her became like so close. We would hang out every other week, and we made such a beautiful relationship. And then by joining other clubs at school, I met new people also through my classes. I remember also making many presentations about Morocco. And the barrier of me being afraid of reaching out to people, I remember this too, because at first I got lost so many times in my school, and I really learned how to go and approach somebody and tell them, excuse me, but I'm really lost. Could you please help me go to my class? And that actually helped me make friends and know people more. And now, I kid you not, everybody in this school knows who I am, and I know them too. So we might not be friends, but at least we know each other.
Yeah, at least they know the name Aya. That's the important thing. And so how would you say education-wise, the school in the American school how does it compare to school in Morocco?
Oh, this is such a good question, because I would really say that the American high school system is unique to itself. It is very different. I really appreciate how teachers immerse their students in their lectures, and how diverse it is as well, because you might go from a teacher to another one and they have two different methods of teaching, and that one makes it very beautiful. And I remember in my pre-calculus class, it was the first time I learned a math concept while doing an activity, like with my hands. So it was very different than Morocco, where I would learn a math concept by a 2 hour lecture from my teacher. So I would say here it's also more fun to learn. And also in anatomy, for example, we do so many stations and activities that where we actually do things, not just take notes. So I really appreciate that, as well as all the other clubs, like after school clubs that the school offers. For one of them is Our Minds Matter, which I'm the secretary for in my school. And
What is that?
it's a club that shares awareness about mental health and is there to support all the students at school and even outside of the school, to be there with them and talk to them. We do so many activities. For example, yoga, we would just paint rocks for mental health. We made friendship bracelets during school lunches. We do so many things that help make the students at school feel a sense of belonging, and everyone can get connected and make new friends and stop being isolated. So I really admire that side of the American high school.
Are after school activities and clubs not through the school system in Morocco, or is that more of a community thing?
Yes, it is. In Morocco, it is more of a community thing, so they're not affiliated with the school, especially if, for example, in my case, I go to a private school, so all my other activities are outside of school. They're not really school related, and we don't really do things after school. So if there is a club or something, it would be during the school hours.
Yeah, gotcha.
Mhm.
What would you say has been your favorite class that you've had while you've been here on exchange?
Oh, that is such an easy question. I know my answer very clearly. I love my pre-calculus class so much. It might seem very crazy because I basically just chose a math class, but my teacher is iconic. She not only gives us math lessons, but we learn so much more. We learn life lessons, and she has been my biggest supporter ever. I remember her when I had some small issues with my previous host family. She was there for me. Like, she was just like a second mom for me at school because I didn't have that before. And I would go to her whenever I need her. And in my math class, I got to, oh, this is such a good memory. Um, I'm pretty sure you know the international week that we have as exchange students.
Yes.
Unfortunately, at my school, we don't really have an international night or something like that scheduled. So I really told her that, excuse me, ma'am, I really would like to share my Moroccan culture and make a presentation about it. She was like, you know what we're going to do? Since my school don't have that, we're going to make the one and only international period where we didn't study math, we didn't do anything else. We brought food, me and my other Moroccan friend at school, whose mom helped me cook so many beautiful Moroccan dishes. I got dressed up in my Moroccan kaftan, which is a dress, and I made a presentation about Morocco, and the amount of questions that I had was insane. It was such a successful presentation. We also got some other teachers and people from the administration coming in and curious about what is the one and only international period in a pre-calculus class.
Right.
You can never find them both together, but here we are. We did that. It was beautiful.
That's so cool. And oh my gosh. And having such a supportive teacher like that really truly makes all the difference in the world. So to that teacher, if you're listening, shout out to you.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to you, Dr. Edwards.
And since we're on the topic of, we were talking about food that you had brought in, that was Moroccan for that international period. What's been your favorite American food that you've had here?
Oh, I am not so sure if that is supposed to be an American food or not, but my host mom makes the best chicken fried rice ever.
Yum. Nice.
And then I really enjoy having it with the yum yum sauce and a requirement and Dr. Pepper on the side. It is the
Absolute
perfect
classic
combo ever.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
It's my all-time favorite thing. And I have many, many friends who say they don't really prefer Dr. Pepper, but it is the best drink ever I've tried here in America.
Love that for you. So, is there a favorite memory or experience that you have that we haven't been able to talk about that you'd like to share?
I would really like to share a very beautiful core memory for me and my host family when we traveled to Arizona for like maybe 2 months ago. And I didn't expect that. We went to visit my host family's grandparents and their family. And I kid you not, I never expected that I would feel more welcomed like that. It was so beautiful. But what made it even more special is my host mom's 92 years old grandma who got me or made me a little gift. She handmade it, and we had the most wonderful conversations together in their backyard, and it was so beautiful because I never knew these people before, but apparently they knew so much about me way before they met me in real life, and they were so welcoming. And I was like, how did that even happen? How did you even know me like that? And it was such an amazing surprise. I will never forget that moment. It means a lot to me, really. It was very beautiful.
So to wrap it up, what's next for Aya? What happens after the exchange is over?
Honestly, right after I'm going to end my exchange year, I am planning to travel to Finland as like literally a week after my exchange year.
Oh.
As a young Moroccan delegate to represent Morocco right there, and see what are the cultural exchanges that we might work on through that program, and as well serve my community the same way I did here in the States. And cool. I am planning to get my IB diploma by the end of next year and hopefully attend the college or university here in the U.S.
A lot of big things coming up for you. That's so exciting. And my final question for you, Aya, for a student who may be considering studying abroad, what advice do you have for them?
I would really say, please go, embrace your fears, do it. Literally say yes to everything, because you will never be 15 or 16 years old ever again. You have been born and raised in your country for the past 16 years of your life. You want to be special. You want to have a story. You want to write your own story and share it. You want to discover what the world has, how many surprises the world has for you. So please don't let those surprises go away and never discover them. Just say yes to opportunities. Yes, go to travel and do it. Don't hesitate. It might seem very scary, but trust me, right after you're going to look out and say, I really made the right decision. I am so glad I trusted myself and booked that flight, and I traveled, because it's a one lifetime experience. You will never regret it. Please just go for it.
Thank you so much for that, Aya. And thank you
Of course.
so much for your time. And
I really appreciate that. And thank you very much for having me today. I was so glad I was able to share my beautiful stories with everyone who's listening. And please just make sure that you are making the right choices and saying yes to all the other opportunities that the world might give you. And yeah.
awesome. And so that is our time for this episode. I want to thank Cycle Breaker, Dream Chaser, Ambassador Aya so much for taking time to talk with us and share your absolutely inspiring story and talk about just the wonderful connections and loving relationships that you've made while you've been on exchange. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in to this episode. Please stick around and listen to the next episode of Life Exchange Stories of Understanding. I've been your host, Kelsey Ross. And until next time, bye. Listen to Life Exchange Stories of Understanding now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.